Hey, what's up, everyone? Thanks for stopping in again with me. This is just going to be a quick 2 month update on my tank and what I think and what's been working and what I've lost and just how everything's been going in general. So, really and truly, if you think about it, in the amount of frags that I transferred from my Nano over to this new system, 67 frags in total, I've lost about 10 of those frags. So, for me, those are pretty good odds. I knew I was going to have some losses. They were all SPS frags that I lost. None of the LPS, none of the Zoas died. I don't really have any soft corals inside of this system, but nothing else died. In fact, all of the Zoas got a little bit more color and started growing and really based out within days of being in the new system. But I did lose a lot of those SPS frags that I had. I lost the Walt Disney, the ASD Rainbow Millie, the Fox Flame, Blue Tort, quite a few named corals. But you know, it is what it is and it's okay. The tank will eventually find its balance. In the past 2 months, I've struggled with salinity, I've struggled with alkalinity, struggled with just grasping the idea of having all this water volume and not feeling the need to mess with it as much as when I had the Nano, where there was a lot more upkeep. I'm starting to get more comfortable with just how everything works in general, getting the sound down through the drain and using the different piping and getting my skimmer tuned in to where I'm able to change it once a week on a schedule. I have my ATO going, it lasts 2 weeks in the 10-gallon container that I'm using. I haven't been dosing as much of the AquaForest products yet, just because I've just started really testing my reef tanks. I went that whole time with my Nano for years without really testing, only checking alkalinity. But now that I have a much larger system and I'm a better understanding of what I'm doing, I am starting to test. So I went ahead and I purchased a salifert, phosphate, and nitrate test kit. I went ahead and got the AquaForest Alkalinity Calcium test kit. I also have a HANA Alk checker. I also went ahead and got the Red Sea Mag Pro test kit as well. So that way I'm able to check all of my parameters weekly. I track them inside of an app that I'm using and it gives me, analytics. I've really been doing the ALK mostly. So the first month, ALK was crazy. I jumped all the way from an ultra low nutrient nano system to 15-16 ALK because I made a bad decision when filling up the tank. I got it back down. Now that I have the doser with components 1, 2, 3 online, I have my ALK for 2 weeks. It was running at 8.8, no changes. Now I'm starting to get some consumption. I'm at 8.5 the past 2 weeks. I'm gonna let it go all the way down to 8 before I bump the doser back up, just to see if it takes about a good 2 months to drop that full DKH and then keep it going from there. My calcium is still running high at 500, but it is kind of the norm when dosing all 3 elements at the same time. The same with my magnesium, it's at the high range in the 1600, but it does keep my algae low. For a new tank, I don't think I'm gonna go through the big algae bloom stage, the ugly stage of a new tank because of the levels of the magnesium in the system. I do, however, have some nitrates, so I do have a little bit of cyano algae growing, and I have a few spots of algae, but I have the turbo snails and I added a tang to the tank, so they've really been maintaining it and keeping all of that under control. As far as the cyano is concerned, it is in one spot, and once I finish going through this bucket of reef salt from AquaForest, I am going to switch over to probiotic, and I do believe it'll bring those nutrients down and I'll be rid of that inside of the system, as long as I maintain it and I don't let it go out of control, which I don't plan on doing. I do have a lot of really good flow. I am happy with the flow inside of the system. I got the CP150. It's a Jabo cross flow pump. Pushes about, it's advertised up to 7,000 gallons per hour. I'm going to say it's probably around 5,000 gallons per hour. I'm also using the Ice Cap 1K. I have it on the other side of my overflow so you can't see it, but it's pushing water all along the back wall. As you know, the way I did my rockscape, it goes straight down the middle and there's equal amount of space on the front and the back wall. And it just keeps flow going all around in one direction, and then I have my cross flow going another direction, and then I have my return pump going against the cross flow just to give me some turbulence inside of the water all the time. For me, it's a good mix of flow. It keeps the back clean and full of detritus. I didn't add that much sand because I didn't want a deep sand bed, so the whole back behind the rocks is almost bare bottom. So I am going to eventually put some corals back there because I do get some lights because I use the T5. Now let's talk about lighting. in this new system, I burned a lot of my SPS. I really think the bleaching happened more so because of the T5 than the ALK swings. Now, you can argue which one did more. Maybe the combination of the two is what killed all my acros for the most part. But the T5 is a really bright light. A lot of this video is shot, different from how I normally do it, super dark with just all blues from the Hydra, but with the T5s, it gives it a whole different look. I am getting used to the more whitish look, but I do plan on changing to actinic bulbs. I am going to keep 2 Coral Plus. I'm going to keep 1 super purple from the Heisman, and I'm going to get rid of the super actinic and just add a regular actinic, maybe 2 of them. I do prefer the blue light over the white light, but I am starting to get used to the white light, and I also like it, but I don't have colonies yet. So I think the glow would look better long term, but I don't want to change too much. So I'm just letting everything get used to it and, just get used to its new life and the new lights and the new water and the new system before I go and start changing more things. So in a lot of these top-down shots, you can see a lot of the coloration was lost in a lot of these corals. I even tried some underwater shots with my iPhone, but I think it'll be fine long term. I think 6 months from now, I think all of these corals are going to be doing good. You also notice I don't have the big Monty rock anymore. I broke that whole thing down and I just fragged it up into 4 small pieces and just kept those. I didn't want to continue with the Monty eating nudibranchs, and that's where they were mostly living. So I removed the whole rock and I just let it die off. I did dip it many times and it did more damage than the nudibranchs did. But I do believe I'm able to get them out of the tank now. I haven't seen any in a few weeks. Any coral that I see that has one on it, I'm literally just pulling out of the tank, and that's going to be the death of that Monty, for example. My friend, Jam's Reef, he brought me 4 new Monties after I lost those. If I see anything on them, I'm just going to move them and pull them. I do think all of this coloration is going to come back, and that tricolor Valdia, you see I'm trying to get underwater here. The JKR rainbow right under it. Next to it is the home wrecker. I think all of the coloration of these corals will eventually come back once I get to that 6-month mark, so on. I don't plan on adding that many more corals to the system, only because I want what I have to bounce back before I start adding more, investing more money into corals, especially SPS frags. But I do plan on adding livestock as far as fish and shrimp and different things like that. Having the nano for so long, I only had 2 fish. Now having 5, I much prefer having a lot of fish in the tank. So I do want to get a pair of mandarin gobies, the captive bred ones, so that way they eat frozen. I do want to get some sort of angel's fish. I do want either a potter's angel or the golden dwarf angel. I do want a school of Anthias inside of this system. I do want another large tang. It's either going to be a powder brown or powder blue. I'm not sure, even a white cheek, but that's my plans and where I'm at with the tank, and I think everything is doing well for 2-month mark. So far, so good. So thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe below, like the video, comment, let me know what you think.